depression from the Antarctic, the cold low pressure. But because it's blowing over from Portugal over the desert, the westerly wind, it is getting hot but very strong. And the wind is coming, the other wind from the north is coming from the tropics, but because it's meeting the westerly, there are no thunderstorms like normal, but very, very strong wind. So that's when you must get up early and you go into the desert, place close to Prisca, which is close to Uppington in the desert, and we winch with the four-wheel drive vehicle driven by my girlfriend Penny, who is here somewhere. So we take off with the winch with the four-wheel drive, and at 11 o'clock the thermic is just starting, and we must fly for 300 kilometer over every 70 kilometer one house, and sometimes one house nobody there, so and no cell phone, and maybe 2 cars per week on the road, so very problematic to land. So for the first 300 kilometers I must be to stay flying, because if I land maybe it's a big problem. Then this was 11 o'clock, at 1:30 the wind gets very strong, maybe 85 kilometers an hour, and I get very low, 120 meters from the ground, going backwards at 45 back, and I get a very low thermal and go behind some hills. Now I'm going backwards over hills, low thermic, and I get a thermal 6 meters a second, but on 400 meter from the ground I get the rotor from the hills and flop, and I have a cascade once and twice, 3 times, and 4 I know I must throw the reserve. In 85 kilometers an hour wind, it's a big problem with the reserve parachute. Then the 4th, I let the glider, the Mago 6, dive, and I hold like this. It comes open, and my ground speed with the GPS, 120 kilometers an hour. Then back in the 6 meter thermal to the cloud base at 5,400 meters, very cold. And then that was the first cloud base of the day, and afterwards for the next 300 kilometers it was very high under the cloud base and very fast. And when I get to cloud base after the very low save, I feel very dizzy, sick, maybe tunnel vision, and only when I get down to 3,500 meters I see that when I had the cascade my oxygen switched off and I was hypoxic, but then I switched it back on and got back to cloud base, and then it was much easier. Then we fly on for another 300 kilometers to, it's a different country inside Afrika du Sud. It's called the Kingdom of Lesotho. Drakensberg, very high mountains, and I land at the base of the very high mountains, and I land at 6:30 and with a light wind and only one road and a local village where I go to the pub and I buy beers until I've bought all the beers in the pub. And then my girlfriend, she arrives 3 hours later, and the next day we drive the whole day to get back to where we start.